A quarterback who dates adult film stars. Another quarterback who spends weekends in his left tackle's basement. A head coach who likes to chew bubblegum on the sidelines. And another head coach who has high
cheekbones, cheekbone guys.
This is the NFC West. What's up, everyone? Epic here. It's been a while, guys. I missed you. We are back into YouTube, and this is episode 1 of our 8-piece series regarding the NFL divisions. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit more about what our series is going to be about here. We are going to compare each of these 4 teams, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Niners. We're going to give them a high end and a low end. Now, that doesn't mean win totals. That means I'm going to compare them to a team that has played in the NFL over the last 5 years. So, for example, if I say, the such and such team, their low end is going to be the 2017 Cleveland Browns, who went 0-16. That does not mean that I think this team's going to lose all 16 games. Rather, I think, they missed on a quarterback, they drafted a great pass rusher, their culture sucks, and I don't think they're going to win very many games. They're going to get a top 2 pick. That's what I'm saying. Or your high end is the 2018 Patriots. All right, that doesn't mean that I think you're going to win the Super Bowl. Rather, I think you're capable of going on a deep playoff run leading to a Super Bowl. So don't get that confused, guys. I'm not projecting win totals as my high end and low end. The prediction is the win total. It's going to be somewhere in between the high end and the low end. So, and before we get started, guys, I just want to set some ground rules here. All right, so here's some ground rules here, guys. Ground rule number 1. This video does not take into account injuries, holdouts, and trades. This is based on how the NFL rosters look right now as of May 2019. Things can obviously change so far down the road, but as of right now, I'm not projecting injuries, I'm not projecting holdouts, I'm not projecting any other of that stuff. This is how the rosters and the coaching staff look right now. And number 2, if you guys have a different opinion of mine, that's great. I want everyone to have their own unique opinion. I'd like you guys to leave it down respectfully in the comments below so we can have a nice discussion about football. I don't need to argue with you guys about my opinion. Rather, I just want to hear what you guys think. Respectfully, I want to hear what you guys think, because I might think that I might be super low on a team that you're super high on. That might tick you off. It would tick me off too. If someone had the Packers finishing as 3rd in their division, I would say, what are you talking about, man? So please leave your opinion in the comments below. And number 3, if you guys enjoy the video, please subscribe, please like the video. I want to get more viewership on this channel, and that starts with getting more subscribers and getting more attention towards, the videos that I make. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get to it. And the first team we are going to talk about in this series is the Arizona Cardinals. So they had a huge offseason. They traded Josh Rosen. They took Kyler Murray at number 1. They hired Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. And to talk about those moves and my opinion on them, I am not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury. He had a losing record at Texas Tech when he had Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback. Kyler Murray is extremely overrated. He had so much talent around him in Oklahoma. Well, epic. Baker Mayfield did too. Baker Mayfield is not 5'10", and he's a little bit more stocky than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is built to be a shortstop or a center fielder in baseball, not to be an NFL quarterback. He looks more to me like Johnny Manziel than Russell Wilson, and I think that matters. So, as far as the defense goes with the Cardinals, I like Vance Joseph as a defensive coordinator for that team. They don't have Patrick Peterson. They have talent with their pass rush. Chandler Jones is one of the best pass rushers in the league. No one talks about him. But I think what it comes down to is formula. The Cardinals look to me like a team that could win games if Kyler Murray and this Cliff Kingsbury offense, I don't think it will, but I could see it working. So if you had a formula where you had a David Johnson, Kyler Murray attack on the ground, along with the receivers that they have on the roster, as well as the good ones that they drafted with Andy Isabella and Akeem Butler, that could work. I could see that working, where you have an offense that controls the ball, can score a good amount of points, and your defense doesn't have to bail you out in close games. You could win that way. Now let's remember too is that the offense could look horrible. This could be a complete failure. The defense does not have enough talent to suffice, and this could go haywire. So without further ado, let's get to our high end, our low end, and our prediction. Alright, and as you guys can see, my high end for the 2019 Arizona Cardinals will be an NFC East team, except not quite this NFC East team, a diet version of the 2016 Dallas Cowboys. As we just talked about, you can find a formula, a ball control offense with Kyler Murray and David Johnson. The offensive line does not resemble Dallas's in any way, shape, or form, but Kyler, I think, as much as I don't like him, he's a better version of Dak Prescott was in 2016 as far as his ability to throw the football and his ability to control plays. The Cliff-Kyler marriage would have to work, the rookie receivers would have to play very well, and the offense would have to keep the defense off the field, but like I said, the defense does not resemble Dallas's either. Now, that formula could work. That would not lead them to a number 1 seed in the NFC. That would lead them to, I would say, perhaps a divisional title. 11-5 is my cap for them. Now to the low end. How about another NFC East team? The 2015 Philadelphia Eagles. An overrated college coach handpicks his number 1 overall pick QB, and it goes haywire. Misuses players. Organization ends up regretting hire and firing Kingsbury the next season. They're not nearly as talented offensively or defensively as the Eagles did. The Eagles won 7 games. This team is not capable of winning 7 games if these things happen. And in all honesty, both of these comparisons are very, very likely. However, I think that they will finish. Now, like I said, diet Eagles. They will not win 7 games as their low end. Their low end is 4-12. I say their high end is 11-5. I have them going 5-11. And they have the 12th hardest schedule. They will go 5-11. The Cliff-Kyler thing will work to some extent, but they are not going to be ready to compete for a playoff berth yet, and they will win 5 games. And the second team we'll analyze in the series is the Seattle Seahawks. Offensively, this is the Russell Wilson show. They were fine last year without Doug Baldwin, so I don't think his subtraction really matters that much. But truth be told, this is going to be a much different offensive football team than last year, because this is all on Russell Wilson. He is the guy. He just got paid the big money. The defense lost some talent, and it is on him to show that he can carry an average to below average roster at this point in time. Now let's talk about the defense. They lost Frank Clark, and they lost Justin Coleman. They added Ezekiel Ansah, and I kind of should have brought this up. They lost Earl Thomas, probably the best safety in the NFL. And you know what? I think that they can be okay because Pete Carroll is always great at controlling the line of scrimmage defensively. Bobby Wagner anchors that team. I think they will be okay, but they will not be an above-average defense. So anyways, with that in mind, let's go to my potentials for a high end and a low end. Now for my prediction of this Seahawks team. As a high end, how about the 2017 Carolina Panthers? They finished 3rd in rushing, 11th in defensive points, and they were anchored by a strong middle linebacker, Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner on Seattle. Now, let me be clear on my philosophy. They're going to have to be, once again, a run-first football team to win, because they don't have the weapons on the outside. DK Metcalf is raw, no Doug Baldwin. They have okay pieces, but they're going to have to run the football again. Rashad Penny is going to have to become a star at some point for this team to go back into the playoffs. Now, as for a low end, how about the 2015 Buffalo Bills? 1st in rushing, which the Seahawks I think are going to have to be around. 15th in points allowed, when the Seahawks were 16th last year. They were not good situationally. They finished 8-8, and I think that is a low end for a team with a quarterback as great as Russell Wilson. Now for my final prediction, they will reach their low end. 8-8 is what I think this team will go. Their high end would be a 10-6 wild card team in this division. I don't think this team has Super Bowl potential, but I don't think this team is going to be in the gutter. They will finish 8-8 and disappoint a lot of people who have high hopes for the Seahawks. And here we go to my most controversial team yet, the 2019 LA Rams. Offensively, here is a big red flag. They rushed for 77 and 62 yards respectively in the 2 biggest games of the season, being the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, scoring 26 and 3 in those games respectively. They only scored lower than 26 points twice. And let's remember here, the offensive line is going to take a step back. It's a bit of an older line. They lost Roger Saffold. Andrew Whitworth is going to be 37. Jared Goff's development is going to be crucial. Now the defense. Here's another thing. They were built to win last season. They gave up some draft picks. They got Eric. They got Eric. Well, this offseason they got Ndamukong Suh. They got Aqib Talib. They got Marcus Peters. They have Aaron Donald now and a bunch of older veterans, along with the addition of Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle. Now here's the thing, they still finished 19th in yards allowed in 2018 despite some of their issues with cornerback health. Aqib Talib missed a bunch of that season. I think that it's on Wade Phillips and the new defensive pieces to make it happen. So let's go to our prediction. My high end for them is the 2018 Rams. So as I just mentioned, the Rams have a rushing problem issue, and Todd Gurley has degenerative knees, meaning bad and getting worse. Jay Glazer confirmed this, the guy for the NFL and reporting-wise. Todd Gurley could play, but I don't think he's going to play very much. CJ Anderson was a perfect handcuff for him, and the Rams let him walk. The only way this team returns to 2018 form is the defensive pieces come in and do well, and Todd Gurley either plays or they find another guy who fits the McVay rushing system, which is very friendly towards running backs, sort of like Kansas City is. They have to get the rushing thing right because the Rams are not a good football team and they don't run the ball well. How about my low end? The 2015 Saints. How about rushing issues? This team was very plagued by rushing issues. They were finished 24th in rushing and 1st in passing, something I could see the Rams having to do this year. They were 31st in team defense. I don't think that is going to happen with the defensive pieces. However, if they don't work, this will not be a good defensive football team. I think their high end is 12-4. I think their low end is 7-9 wins-wise. And my final prediction for them is a 9-7 record. And now, my pick to win the NFC West in 2019, the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about the offense. Jimmy Garoppolo, upon his arrival in 2017, was 5-0 in his last 5 starts. He comes back to Pro Bowl tight end George Kittle with some talented rookies and their prized running back Jerick McKinnon, who was a big offseason signing 2018. They have one of the best tackle duos along with Weston Richburg in the middle. Defensively is where this team is going to pop. The defensive line is about to pop because they have so many pieces that have just gone under the radar. Dee Ford joins a group featuring Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead, and now they draft Nick Bosa, the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. This is a lethal front four, along with adding Quan Alexander in the secondary and having Richard Sherman on the back end, who was a really, really good corner last year. So what do I think this team can achieve? I don't know. How about the Super Bowl? A 2017 Philadelphia Eagles team was built very similarly. They were number 1 in rush defense, number 6 in rushing with all those backs like the 49ers have. They were number 1 in passing touchdowns. I think that's a bit of a reach for the 49ers, but let's talk about the complexion of this team. This is a team with the offensive guru head coach Kyle Shanahan, Doug Peterson for the Eagles. Jimmy Garoppolo is a young quarterback who has a ton of upside, who is ready to pop, finally, after all these years. They built their team up front, and they built their team up front on both ends, meaning their offensive line was a huge strength along with their defensive line. The Eagles had Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox as their staples. The Niners have a bunch of guys who could be those two, because they have Nick Bosa, they have Solomon Thomas, they have Dee Ford now. This team is loaded on the defensive front. And now let's talk about the downside for this 49er team. How about a division rival, the 2016 Arizona Cardinals? They were 7-8-1. They were 14th defensively in points allowed, and they had the 9th best offense in yardage. Those are numbers I could see the 49ers quote-unquote dipping to if, say, the pieces on their roster don't mesh well. Remember, that Cardinals team came off a very, very good season, 13-3 NFC Championship. The defensive pieces did not mesh well the next season. Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Calais Campbell, Chandler Jones. A lot of pieces on this new 49er team. Alexander, Sherman, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, Dee Ford. What if all just doesn't mesh well and they don't end up becoming a great defensive football team like I think they can be? And what if, let's say, the Niners just are a little bit better than everyone thinks? Or excuse me, a little bit worse than everyone thinks. Kyle Shanahan's not that guy. Jimmy Garoppolo's not that guy. They don't have enough weapons on the outside. The running backs aren't that good. David Johnson was great, but they're not as good as David Johnson. They could very, very well finish with a 7-8-1 record. Now, for my final prediction for this team. A high end, I could see them going 12-4 and going to an NFC title game or a Super Bowl, depending on who they play in the playoffs. My low end for them would be a 7-9 football team that just does not fit well and everything goes down the gutter. However, my prediction for this team will be a 10-6 record. They will win the division for the first time since, I believe, 2012, and this will be the year the 49ers pop. And there you guys have it. My picks for the NFC West in 2019. At number 1, I got the San Francisco 49ers at 10-6. At number 2, the LA Rams at 9-7. At number 3, the Seahawks at 8-8. And at number 4, the Arizona Cardinals at 5-11. Now let's take these picks and let's send them over to my NFL big board. Now, as you guys can see, this is a puzzle that is yet to be complete. We have just finished the NFC West. We have 7 more divisions to go. If you guys want to see me complete the NFL puzzle that is the divisional picks, please subscribe, share, like the video, leave a comment, do whatever you want. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Bye now.